Good evening, everybody. You are here in time for some volleyball between the George Brown Huskies and the Georgian Grizzlies. Just about to start underway here. And we are officially off with an immediate ace coming in from number 9 on the Grizzlies.
Zane, super exciting game. I mean, Georgian here, they're 11-2, second place right now in the OCAA, just one game behind first.
On a 9-game win streak over.
Wow. I mean, you can kind of see where the team is powerful. I mean, just look at that.
As we said, yeah, Georgian has been on an absolute heater. And the Huskies, 7-5 on the year, however, have dropped 2 straight. So they're looking to get back into the swing of things tonight. Pass over, serve in from number 13. Out of bounds, first point of the night for George Brown. We got ourselves a very exciting one in this one. Like you said, Asia, very good performance out of this Grizzlies team so far. So the Huskies are going to have a lot of work to kind of get ahead in this. But serve coming in on the Husky side. Out of bounds.
Ceiling. I mean, I think there's a lot of energy in this building, especially after the ladies' game. They went to full sets and ended up winning an extra point to the 5th.
Absolutely, yeah. Very, very dynamic game. In the early going, serve coming in from George Brown. Excellent save, and a spike down. Point Grizzlies. Serve coming in, and hits the net for that one. Another point over to Georgian.
I mean, we're tied 3-all here. Game could really go either way, even if the records don't look like it.
Serve coming in from number 11. Kenny comes in, blocked, and a monster serve over by George Brown there, taking a 4-3 lead. Number 10 on the Huskies coming up with the serve, Trent Kadrinsky. Winding up the serve. Pass up, keeping it alive. Coming in for the spike. Saved up again in the air for George Brown. Passing over, the block. Hits the net there, point to Georgian.
Very exciting night as well because it is grad night here at George Brown. Last home game for both volleyball teams. One grad on the boys team, and that is Maximilian Pushchu.
And that'll be out of bounds. No, that'll be a point in for George Brown. And yes, an absolutely special night for Max Kostu. 2-year vet here at George Brown, and he is playing his final home game of the George Brown Husky season. Definitely energy means a bit more for him tonight. Serve coming in.
Oh, that one just out there.
Just out of bounds for George Brown, but you could see the players are coming in hot and heavy to begin. Number 11, Aiden Kenny, just out of reach there. And it's an early 6-4 lead for the Huskies. Serve up, spike in, blocked by George Brown. Back in possession of Georgian. Blocked again, saved up, almost out of bounds. Oh, and almost in a bit excellent blocking. A bit of a crash in for number 2, Graham Sauter. But he seems to be all right. He's just brushing that one off.
Excellent blocking there by Tyrese Brooms, number 12, right there in the middle. 6'6", definitely makes sense that he's good at blocking.
Oh, and very dominant start in for George Brown. They are coming in up to the 8-4 lead, and they are just making sure to get their absolute A serve down.
Super energetic here as well, which is definitely helping with the game.
Absolutely. They're both showing all the energy they got in the quick going of this one. Served up. Spike down. Blocked by George Brown. Coming up. And another spike again from Georgian. Passing over. Blocked. And this time it goes in the Huskies' favor. So off to most things are kind of going George Brown's way right here. The defense is looking incredibly sharp, not letting them get a single shot down. Number 15 on the Huskies, Nick Phoebe, ready to serve. Good block down, keeping it high. Serve coming. Oh, and that was an absolute spike and a half from number 6, Aiden Watson.
Yeah, wow, that was incredible. I mean, got some really good height on that one. He is 6'3", though, so that definitely helps with how high he can get that, because he just got that right over their heads.
Absolutely. Serve in from George Brown. Now George in, coming back. Immediate bounce back from George Brown, making it 10-5. That one on the back of Tyrese Brooms with an absolute killer of a spike.
He's been playing great right in that middle spot so far this game. I think we can expect to see a very good game from him. Tien
Suzuki with the serve, back in Georgian's territory. And a spike. Oh, but the save coming in from Trent Kudrinski. But they can't hold on. Oh, but the point does go to George Brown, 11-5. Suzuki will get the serve yet again.
Speaking on Suzuki, he is 4th in assists right now in the OCAA. He has 375 before this game started, which I think is just absolutely amazing. I mean, he is a fantastic setter, and you can definitely see that so far.
Incredible year for him. And that point out of bounds and will go over to Georgian. Suzuki, 3rd year on the team with the Huskies. They've put a lot of faith in him, as you said. What a terrific year he's been having. Serve coming up from Georgian. Sauter, a little out of bounds on that one. Now number 17, Joseph Lee, getting the serve for the George Brown Huskies.
3rd year here.
Coming in.
6 foot.
That one out of bounds. Grizzlies point. Coming in is Watson. Big serve up. A lot of airtime up there. Down. Oh, and they can't get the recovery. Huskies off to an early but comfortable start at 13-7.
Yeah, I would say, like, honestly, a lot of their points have come from just fantastic spikes. I mean, right there, that one, absolutely no one where he went. Perfect spot, amazing point.
A lot of great athleticism so far for the Huskies and Grizzlies alike. That serve didn't quite get enough for Brooms, and the point goes to Georgia. Serve coming up from number 9, Josiah Grimm.
Ooh,
up in the air,
over
to Suzuki, keeping it alive. Spikes down, but number 10 couldn't quite read it. Kudrinski couldn't quite get it, and he's hearing it from the Grizzlies bench.
There. Came in just a little bit too fast. Definitely did not look happy after that, though.
Grimm coming in with the serve yet again. But this one can't quite get a little up over the net, and that point lands Huskies' way.
But man, was that strong.
Yeah, these guys are using their athleticism to the highest of their capabilities, and we're seeing a full effect of that. Yaroslav Svidritsky, one of the best players on this Huskies team, getting the serve.
Honestly,
good block, back up in, hits the net, point Huskies.
He's probably one one of the best players in the OCAA. I mean, he's right now first in kills per set, 3.89%. I mean, he is just an absolute beast. Not only is he 6'8", but he is scoring.
We are seeing a high-scoring affair early up in this one. And the first timeout has been called, this one, for Georgian.
This is definitely probably looking a little bit different than their first game they played against each other. First game they played against each other was actually the first game of the season. The Huskies lost 3-0, so maybe this is looking a tiny bit different for them with the lead here.
Absolutely. We noticed up earlier in the game before him with the women's volleyball team that there were, big deficits coming here and there, but these are new teams with different players and capabilities, and we're going to have to see how they respond to falling down early. But the Huskies up a quick 6 points at the time of the first timeout.
Yeah, definitely probably the right time here for Georgian's head coach, Reed Saxby. 10th year with the team. I would say probably a good time to call a timeout there.
Yeah, absolutely. He's seen it all, and he knows what works best for his team over the years. Svidritsky, a little out of bounds up on that one. Point to the Grizzlies.
Good call by the Grizzlies bench there as an out.
Yeah, perfect read up on it. Number 1 coming in with the serve, Logan Underwood for Georgian. Serve up and spike down. Oh, but a block. Blocked by Underwood, but it bounces out of bounds. And another point for the Huskies.
That was just a great job there. Excellent point, getting it to a spot where it's uncomfortable for him to properly set the ball back up. Amazing job.
Underwood just wanted it in the air, but so much power coming down from Svidritsky. And that was an off serve for Kedrinsky up on that one. 16-11 Huskies. And here we have Ryan Vrizima coming in with the serve for Georgian. A lot of airtime on that one, but it's out of bounds. And the point to George Brown. We're seeing pretty powerful serves in this early going, don't you think, Asia?
100%. I mean, it's just those jump serves are really, really powerful from both sides.
Yep. Good serve in from Phoebe. And getting it to drop down right in the Huskies' front lines. Point over to the Grizzlies. Serve back to Georgian. And this one will be Aiden Kenny getting the serve. Jumps up, fires it in. Keeping it in the air, pass over, and good block made by Georgian.
Fantastic block there. I think we're going to see a lot of good blocking today.
Absolutely. Early on, we've seen quite the heavy going of offense on offense, but I think as this one goes on, the defense is going to kick into place. Kenny again with the serve. Locked up. Suzuki down over. Spiked off the top of the net and landing in the Husky court. That point goes to Georgian, and a timeout will be called.
I think we're seeing a little bit of possibly a momentum switch here.
Yeah, after a bit of an early jump up by George Brown, things were really starting to lock into place for this Georgian team. Who do you think is the real key player to look out for on this Grizzlies team?
Honestly, I think they have quite a few fantastic players, but I would say Josiah Grimm, number 9, 6'5", is in the 4th year at Georgian. Probably the one to look out for, as he is 3rd in hitting percentage, .437. Definitely going to see quite a few, I think, points from him.
Absolutely. Could certainly see him as a multiple threat type of category, as are many guys on this red hot Huskies and Grizzlies team.
For absolutely sure.
All right, first timeout of the night used by the Huskies. Serve again, going to Kenny. And kept up by Kadrinsky. Passed over, spiked down, but blocked. Up in the air, passed over, but Yevzadrinsky, and that point is out. Kadrizinski shot it a little too far out of bounds, and another point going to the Grizzlies.
The bench is absolutely fired up right now for Georgian.
Yeah, these Grizzlies teammates are absolutely letting their experience be known, with every point going their way and every mistake being made by the Huskies. But that was a perfect execution by Svidritsky.
Seriously, number 14 there, just loading up his arm. You think he's going to come in with a super hard hit, and
just soft hands it in there.
Just tips that one over. Perfect spot there.
Yeah. Serve out of bounds, but just in by Suzuki. Just landing within the lines, and Georgian is not happy about it.
No. I also think, though, Suzuki, definitely a player to watch out for. He's a fantastic setter.
Yeah, he always knows how to just set up his team and give them the perfect opportunity to lay down a spike. That one just a little off, and a good block made by Georgian. 19-16. We're getting closer in this game, and while this has been pretty close as things are ramping up, we'll have to see who can kind of power through this final and first set. Good save up, pass over, drop down, 3 players in, and a recovery made by Rizima.
Incredible.
Shot a little too far out of the bounds. That was a power strike, and not enough room. Petrozinski gets the point. And number 17, Joseph Lee, getting the serve. Shooting up. Good block, and spiked up over, and Grimm. No, that was Watson coming in with a heavy spike.
That one was just exactly in the corner pretty much, and no one was there.
Here he comes in again with the serve. Suzuki passes it up over, and that one last in possession of the Grizzlies, meaning the Huskies get the point with the out of the bounds. 21-17.
They've been keeping up a pretty steady lead here. I mean, only 4 points off of set point.
And now number 4 for the Huskies, Thomas Tucci, will be getting the serve. Tucci shoots up. Blocked in by Watson. Spike, but on the wrong side. Grimm couldn't get that one to shoot past the net. And another point to the Huskies.
I feel like maybe the pressure's coming down a little bit here on the Grizzlies. Looking maybe a few errors in the past few points there. Another timeout here.
Yeah, the athleticism has absolutely been there, but now it's just about executing the little things, which the Huskies seem to have a solid communication with the team in on. Timeout called, taking a quick break, getting back into shape for the Grizzlies, but the Huskies are in a good spot right now.
They are in an excellent spot right now. I mean, 3 points off of set point against, I would say, probably a second top team in OCAA. And I think, honestly, their chemistry's just been working great so far. Sets in the right spot and everything. Excited to see what this set can bring.
Yeah, everything from Suzuki giving the perfect passes up over to Brooms, keeping their blocks down, and just not getting too aggressive to let Georgian make the mistakes when they will. It's been a winning strategy so far. Let's see if they can keep it up. Tucci coming in again with the serve. That one can't get up over the net, and point goes to Georgian. The serve coming in from Grimm, but it's out of bounds. Point Huskies. A lot of back and forth in this one early so far, but the Huskies have maintained this solid lead.
Definitely a good start to the game.
And in comes Yaroslav Svidritsky with the serve. Big airtime.
Oh, that one was literally
right in bounds.
Just in.
Perfect serve. An absolute ace by Svidritsky.
I think you can see why he's definitely one of the top players.
Absolutely.
Here.
His precision is just automatic. And they're giving
a needle even.
100%. Erie comes again. This time, Watson with the
hit
block,
ceiling.
jumping up. Oh, and a perfect recovery, passing over. Oh, but the jump in. And another spike down. This one coming in from number 13, Ryan Rizuma.
Great rally, but really was number 13 ready for that ball to go up. And just when he saw it, perfect hit down.
He saw some Husky players on the ground and knew this was his chance to get his perfect spike off, and that he did. Here comes in Logan Underwood. Up in the air, Suzuki passing over to, point to the Huskies, 25. They take the first set in a very comfortable but solidly earned win in the first set for the Huskies, 25-19.
Definitely, I mean, that was just a fantastic set for them. Capitalized on the Grizzlies' mistakes, but honestly, Grizzlies didn't make that many. It was more all George Brown, all by themselves, did that. Fantastic job, especially, of course, by Sudritsky there. Man, did he have a fantastic set point.
When Suzuki can get the ball to him or Brooms' hands, good things tend to happen. That is the first set in the books. I'm Zane Cherniak with Asia Chu and Evan Crane up on the keys. We will see you for the second. And we are back for the second set. George Brown Huskies up against the Georgian Grizzlies. I'm Zane Cherniak here with Asia Chu. And a strong start in by the Huskies. A dominant first set by them.
Yeah, honestly, I think that was just great teamwork, to be honest. And also, I think people are maybe a little bit surprised by that.
Yeah, no, they were certainly coming in as something of an underdog in this game, but more sets like that, and we'll see what this team's capable of. Svidritsky coming in with the serve. Decent block in by the Huskies. Suzuki passing it up, over and dunked in.
Wow.
What a spike from Trent Petrzinski.
Seriously, what a fantastic cross-court spike there. Suzuki as well, perfectly placing that set.
And here comes Svidritsky again. That one a little bit too far. There's a lot of power coming from this guy, 6'8", and you could see the strength. He's got to maintain a proper balance of it without going overboard. Serve over to the Grizzlies now. Underwood setting up, spike. Svidritsky tried to throw them a little off balance, shoot him in a different direction, but that one just eked a little too far out and out of bounds. Point,
Close
Grizzlies.
one for sure.
Close one, no doubt. He might have tried to get a little too technical there and lost his grip. And Underwood comes in. Suzuki passing it up over.
Wow.
To Petrzinski. Oh, and a bit of a collision made there by number 4 and number 6.
Suzuki, number 2 there. What a set all the way from the right side of court to the left side of court to get that point.
Yeah. These guys are able to move the ball around with authority and quick. Here comes Petrzinski. Serves it in, shoots it a little too far. Point to the Grizzlies. Fans are certainly excited for this one, Asia. Final home game of the Husky season.
I mean, we see a few of the ladies grad players in the crowd as well, just taking in some exciting moments from last game as well.
Strong block made by the Grizzlies, but it veers out of bounds and the point lands to the Huskies.
What a great job by Daryl Jose there, number 5. Hyping the team up as well with just that point.
Yeah, defense still needs to settle things out just a little bit over for the Grizzlies side. And here comes a spike down. Ooh, soft serve in from number 11. That's Aiden Kenny, just completely switching up the pace on the Huskies there, and no one had a reaction in time.
Just in the middle there. Fantastic job by him.
And here comes Kenny in again with the serve. He winds up the set. Up. And Suzuki in. Over to, oh, but a block. Svidritsky could not get it past. And a perfect block made, but out of bounds, and the Huskies point.
This is a lot closer of a set that we're seeing than last set. Fighting tooth and nail for every point.
And here comes Suzuki with the serve. Lobs that one in. And a perfect spike made. This time goes Grizzlies' way, and from number 7, that'll be Devin Oliver. Oliver coming in now with the next serve.
That one, I mean, from where we're sitting, just saw the perfect path for where it should land, and it landed there.
Oliver comes in. Up to number 5, Suzuki setting up and drops down and hitting the net.
Oh, now see, I don't
Point
know
Huskies.
if you saw that from here, but Suzuki kind of tapped that back in from over the net, bringing it back.
Jumping up with tons of momentum just to kind of flick at it and pass it over to Svidritsky. I mean, this is an interesting level. This is an interesting kind of play that we're seeing out of the Huskies here.
But was definitely one that worked.
Number 17, Joseph Lee, absolutely overpowering.
Yeah, the third year here, he's 6 foot. And wow, was that a fantastically strong serve. Let's see if he can do it again.
Yeah, he'll get the chance here right now, setting up for his serve. Lee comes jumping and in, passing back, backing it up to number 4, back in the Huskies court. Suzuki and a spike down, but out of bounds.
good try for sure.
Tyrese Brooms, just a little too much heat up in that one. Cannot stay in the boundaries, but the process was certainly there. 7-6 Huskies. Serve coming in, back over, and there once again Svidritsky with that dominant spike. He just, when he gets airborne and comes down with the ball, you don't blink or you'll be gone in a second.
That was a super strong play there. Number 15 just came in as well, Nick Fabi, sorry.
Fabi, yes. And a spike down, but again, touching up on the net. Another point going to the Huskies. They're having a nice balance of just making all the right plays and executing those little things, but also a good amount of just waiting for the other team to mix up first.
I would definitely agree with that, and you can see, I think, kind of on their faces a little bit, Grizzlies are getting a little bit shaken up from this.
Frustration certainly building, but time to be sure. That point a little out of bounds, and it goes the Grizzlies' way. Still 9-7 Huskies with the first set on the board. Number 9, Josiah Grimm will be getting the serve up on this one. Here he comes, and up over to Suzuki. Back down, wow. And an absolute smash hit by Ketrazinski.
Ketrazinski, just that left side, 100% his side. He has owned that whole game, just laying down, I would say, a lot of cross-court spikes from there, getting his points on the board.
Well, in this early going, it definitely seems like there's been a formula that works. In that one, Svidritsky can't quite get over the net, point Grizzlies, but Suzuki understands the game plan. When he gets the ball, pass it to Ketrazinski, pass it to Svidritsky, and see what happens from there. Grimm, Underwood with the serve. Suzuki over to Svidritsky, blocked back, ooh, and an absolute showcase of defense there by the Grizzlies.
Fantastic block. Again, as we were saying earlier, very offensive-sided game, but when the defense shows up, it shows up for sure.
Yeah, we might be seeing more of that as this game continues. Underwood again with the serve, passing it in over to number 5, Suzuki, and a smash down, but a recovery made over to number 6 in the Huskies court. Suzuki to Ketrazinski, but it's alive. Spike down, and that point goes Grizzlies' way.
Just tipped off the fingers there. Definitely want to shout out number 4 there for Georgian, Ethan Eiselroof. Oh my God, did you see that when he kept that up off of his chest?
Very quick hands from Eiselroof there. We saw clearly what he's capable when the ball gets to his hands. That one on the Grizzlies side hits the net, so point Huskies. It's currently 11-10 in the second.
Super close. I mean, such a difference from last set. Oh.
And an absolute money shot just over the net, losing all speed as it crosses into Husky territory, and that comes from who else but Tret Ketrazinski getting another serve. He shoots, he fires. Once again, just over the net and dropping down. He's got that dialed to a T. And here he comes again with the next serve.
Going off the net can definitely be a little risky, but doesn't knock the other team off. And it's definitely working for number 10 here.
Grizzlies seem to be off balance in this early go, but that one hitting the net. Grizzlies frustrated with that decision, and point going to the Huskies. And everyone can hear it from the Husky bench right now.
A lot of volleyball is in the cheering. Ref telling teams maybe to calm down a little bit. Both setters going up to the ref right now.
Svidritsky reaching out to his group, telling them to ease up just a little bit. Plenty of game left to play, but
I mean,
the emotion is high in this one, Asia.
Everyone gets it. It's not only a competitive game, but it's also with, again, high stakes grad night. And again, the last home game here for the Huskies.
Ketrazinski fires in, and just out of bounds shot, looked to be close, but not quite in reach. And that point goes the Grizzlies' way. They'll get next serve.
That one was just off, but if he did get that, there was absolutely no one there.
Colin Deegan coming in. Suzuki, but blocked. Over to number 4, setting up for Watson, but it lands back in their court, and the Huskies take another point. It is 15-11.
Fantastic defense there, especially by number 15, Nick Phoebe. Great job tracking the ball and blocking it as he takes the serve.
Coming in with the next serve, we have Nick Phoebe coming in. Nice block. Jumping in, and a nice spike made by Devin Oliver. When Oliver can get a clear shot in like that, he gets a perfect spike down. Point to the Grizzlies.
That was an amazing job by him as well. Again, super close game. I think we're going to see a lot of fantastic plays.
And here comes Jalen Richards with the serve. That one out of bounds. Point Huskies. And this time, Tien Suzuki will be getting the serve. He has been a part of a lot of big plays early on, getting the serve in. And passed up, just tipped over and in, but point to the Huskies as it was last on the possession of the Grizzlies side. It is 17-12.
Maybe they're building up a little bit of a comfortable lead now, Zane.
We're starting to get there, Adrian. I mean, if you get the first 2 sets to none, that's certainly a big possession as the massive underdog in this game.
But there we just saw, I would definitely say, an amazing spike all the way to the corner.
Big spike made and needed by the Grizzlies, who are back in first serve here. Number 7, Devin Oliver with the chance. He's shooting up, he sets, he fires in. Brought up Suzuki with a light tap. Svedridzitsky. Blocked down. Back on the Husky side. Suzuki passing it well over. And Svedridzky with just a bit too much heat on that. Interesting play by Suzuki, shooting it all the way over to the left side to try and pass it to his guy Svedridzky. But timeout is now called for the Huskies.
I think it might be a time for a timeout, maybe. You know, give the guys a little bit of a break, a little bit of a breather. Again, we saw the energy is really building in here. And I think that also maybe it's time to think about maybe a few different plays. I mean, the Grizzlies just scored quite a few in a row there.
Certainly have shortened the gap by a bit. It is 17-14 Huskies. But Ketrazinski and Svedridzky have absolutely been making their mark in this early go.
For sure, definitely the top players, at least point-wise so far. But I would say definitely also big shout out to the back end, the Liberos. They were playing fantastic as well. And the blocking too, especially by number 12 and number 15, has been fantastic.
Absolutely.
Very excited to see how the set continues, Zane.
Yeah. Timeout just wrapping up. Tyler Latuila just trying to get a few words in and give his team something else to think about and how they can proceed with the rest of this set.
Looks like maybe they're fixing the net a little bit there.
It would seem so, making sure everything. It is Grizzlies ball coming in from Devin Oliver. He shoots up, fires in, and a easy dig. Spiked down by 17, and that is off of Joseph Lee with a nice spike in for the point.
That was a hard one, and the other team got their hands on it, but it just was too strong, bounced out of the direction they were looking for it to go to.
Major kill to start out this post timeout. Lee coming in with the serve. Over to Oliver. Spike, but blocked by Brooms. Set up. and spike, but blocked again. This is a bit of a tag team effort by Svidritsky and Brooms, and they are fired up.
I mean, that was just like a wall. Like, there is no way you're getting past those two. I mean, Svidritsky is 6'8", and Brooms 6'6".
Yeah,
definitely hard.
A lot of force to get past there. Lee with the serve again, but that one not quite enough air on it, and it does hit the net. Back to Grizzlies for serve. This time it'll be Devin Oliver. He sets up, he fires. In and jumped up Suzuki, passing it over to Ketrazinski, but it's blocked again and in. Suzuki passing it, trying again with Ketrazinski. This time it's good, but out of bounds. This time it is going Grizzlies' way.
Close one there.
Yeah, the process was there, but just a little out of bounds. And the serve going again to Oliver. Yeah,
he's had quite a few good serves. He is 6'3" from Newmarket.
This one, Watson, my mistake, not Oliver.
Oh,
this
sorry.
one being Aiden Watson. And passing it over into Oliver this time, but brought up. Set up by Lee. And a light tap from Ketrazinski. Over to Deegan. Blocked by the Huskies. Jose with a light tap in. Over on the Grizzly side. Blocked again. Broom setting it up. Suzuki to Ketrazinski, but held in. Still alive, blocked again by Brooms. Set up again, but they missed the spike, and big play made by the Grizzlies there.
What a rally. I mean, just back and forth there. Was it just back and forth, like pushing it over. It was digs and sets and all of it combined.
That was a very fully captured round there, and we just saw a lot of people get their hands on the ball. Brooms coming in with a lot of different blocks. And the effort was made. Suzuki with the setup, Ketrazinski with the spike, but Grizzlies finally had a read that we haven't seen as frequently, but they absolutely had their eye on that one.
Yeah, I mean, Brooms just, I know the point didn't go for the Huskies, but did he have some great blocks there to keep that rally alive?
Quick timeout made for the Huskies. After that was an intensive play, just trying to get them to cool their breath out a little bit and regroup after a very intense, all-rounded sequence. Spirits are still high for the Huskies, though. They know they're in a good position here.
I mean, they've been pretty much leading this whole set. I think they're feeling quite confident still, and in a good way.
Absolutely. Watson again coming in with the serve. Suzuki passing it over to Ketrazinski, but kept alive. Oliver passing it over in, back over, Lee to Suzuki, to Ketrazinski, and down! Point Huskies.
Great set there by Suzuki. Right in the perfect spot, and just absolute takedown right there. He just brought the ball right to the ground as soon as he can.
Big effort made by Lee, Suzuki, and Ketrazinski there. Huskies serve, this time Thomas Tucci. Hitting the net, and point going Grizzlies' way.
Getting closer to the magic number of 25 here, Zane. But the game's also pretty close as well.
Absolutely. A 2-point lead is still 2 points, but nothing that you can get too cocky or confident about. The Huskies got to stay composed as they have all game. Josiah Grimm with the serve, but out of bounds. And those are two errant serves back-to-back by both the Grizzlies and the Huskies. Serve going back to the Huskies, and this time it'll be Yaroslav Svidritsky. He sets up, he fires in. Kept blocked up by Watson, spiked, but saved by Jose. Over to Ketrazinski, and he couldn't quite get the spacing on that. There was not anywhere to go on the spike other than right into the net.
That was an excellent receive, though, by Jose there, number 5.
just keeping the ball alive.
Yeah.
Logan Underwood setting up. He shoots and in. Over to Lee, to Suzuki, down. And last possession made on the Grizzlies side, point Huskies. That was
great job there.
That was a strong come in by Nick Phoebe. Ketrazinski getting the serve. And passed over by Underwood. Spike down, but blocked.
Wow.
What a play by Lee.
Wow. Right there was just an amazing solo block. Fantastic. And now we're going into timeout, Zane.
Another timeout called by the Grizzlies. They are just 2 points away from being down 2-0. And that last point was on the back of Joseph Lee, who read the Grizzlies to a T.
Amazing job. I'm very excited to see how the rest of this set can go. Again, like we said, keeping it close, but it seems like the Huskies do have pretty, like every time that one team has scored, the other team scores right back, and the Huskies seem to have been ahead of that this whole time.
You're right.
And I think that, you know, it's really starting to hype the players up. They seem to be getting super excited about it, and I think that they're going to finish this set off super strong.
We'll see what they're capable of, just 2 points away from taking back-to-back sets. And like you said, Asia, it seems like every time the other team gives up a point, they've always been in charge of that lead. And here comes Ketrazinski serving in after the timeout. Heavy serve in, but a little too much heat coming in there. Point going to the Grizzlies. It is a 23-20 set. Serve in, but out of bounds. Point going. And we got a bit of a volleyball landing right over in our booth here. But the miss, Asia Chu, with a nice catch to keep it in. And the Huskies are just 1 point away
from set point here.
This is set point. This one coming in from Nick Phoebe.
Let's see if he can get it done. Oh!
Not quite on that one as it hits the net. The team is not too worried, though. However, it will be Grizzlies' serve.
I think they're in good spirits. A little bit of giggle there when one of their teammates slipped.
Absolutely. Suzuki over to Ketrazinski, but a good block by Grimm.
The Grizzlies have come out of this timeout absolutely fired up, looking pretty strong, trying to take back the points here.
They look angry in this one. And this serve coming in once again from Jalen Richards. A little light toss from Lee to Suzuki, back to Lee, light toss, and another good move made by Watson. Light tap after light tap.
Wow.
But the Huskies were the last one to get the possession, and they do take the set.
I think someone might have touched the net there. I'm not completely sure. I didn't see what the ref called, but I do believe that is what happened.
I believe you're right. I believe he said it was a light tap, but it did hit first on the Grizzlies side. So it goes point Huskies, and they just took 2-0.
Wow. I think a lot of people might be a little bit surprised about that, except for the Huskies. They've just been keeping their confidence, their hype up this whole time, and they took that second set super close again, but with a lot of power. They took the first set with, I would say, a comfortable lead, but that one just fought absolutely to the nail for that one.
Yeah, they were coming out with a much stronger aggression and clearly some new kind of attitude after that last timeout. And while that last one was a decently executed play, it was just enough to work out for the Huskies with a couple of mistakes here and there. And just like that, 2-0, the Huskies are in good position for a win in this one. Quick break coming in before the third. I'm Zane Cherniak with Asia Chu. We will see you for the third set. And we are back for the third and potentially final set. The George Brown Huskies have taken a commanding 2-0 lead in this one. And the Grizzlies have some work to do, Asia.
I would definitely say so. I mean, I think that they're looking to come back from that set. I mean, we almost saw them come back in that set and take it, but with that, I believe, net interference, we saw the Huskies take the set, but I do think that they're going to be coming out with possibly a little bit more fire to keep this game alive.
Yeah, they're going to want to come out with a bang in this one, and it starts with Josiah Grimm getting the serve. Fires it in, but it hits the net, and a quick first point for the Huskies.
I mean, the crowd just already super excited. I do believe that is most of the women's volleyball team. Happy to see that they are supporting the guys team as well.
Yeah. Huskies are happy to be at home for this one. And, of course, their last home game of the season. And a nice fake out made by Devin Oliver. Ball still alive, overshot, but point going Huskies. That was a little bit interfered there on the Grizzlies side. And just nice.
Tipped off his fingers
there. Yeah, off the fingers. And Huskies are just showing a very good synergistic play right now.
I mean, I've noticed something too, especially with number 14 coming up to serve. The Grizzlies, they line up a lot further back. I don't know if you've seen that too, but
they certainly expect him to be shooting far and deep into the court for that one. That one, of course, hitting the net, and first point of the set for the Grizzlies. Underwood gets the serve. Shoots one in off the net, but a nice save made by Jose. Suzuki passing it up over to Svidritsky. Shot in, and a nice point made by number 11, Aiden Kenny. Solid defense being played there by both sides, but he had the advantage and the perfect opportunity to fire one in. Underwood coming in again. Off to Jose. Suzuki, and a slice in. Suzuki to Phoebe to nobody.
Almost got his hands on that one. Number 1 for Georgian, Logan Underwood.
Great effort made by Underwood, but there was just no place to reach for that one. And this one coming in from Ketrzicki. Up off the tip of the net again. Underwood to Watson. Absolutely firing one in there. And it is 3-3.
I think an important part in this set, especially with the outcome of last set, is trying to get at least a 3-point lead, and then it's probably going to look like a shootout after that, I think.
Block made, but hitting the net and point going Grizzlies' way. A little bit of that interference like we saw at the end of the last set. Serve coming back over to Georgian. This time, number 13, Ryan Vrizama.
He's been playing great so far this game. A lot of awesome blocks and spikes.
Consistent performance out of him. Suzuki bringing it in. Oh, and over. Spike down, but off the net. Point Huskies.
This set is definitely looking more like the second in a tied game. I think this one's going to come down to final points as well.
Very likely Grizzlies are trying to hype up their squad up from the bench. And here comes in Nick Phobie. Launching one in, up and over. Soft tap in, but out, and that point going also Huskies' way. The process is absolutely there so far for the Grizzlies, but the execution is what's just a little bit off kilter. Here comes Phobie again. And over to Kenny. Kenny spikes one in.
Kenny has been just playing great and getting spikes right in the middle between everyone there. And when he hits it hard.
Yeah. Aiden Kenny, my mistake. Absolute unit at 6'5" and a powerful spike to boot. Serve coming in. Suzuki up over to Lee, but up off his hands. And that point is going Huskies.
That was definitely a close one. I do think that the Grizzlies thought they scored there.
Certainly, yeah. We heard a bit of cheers and claps coming from this Grizzly bench, but point ultimately called to the Huskies. And here comes Suzuki in with the serve. Light tap by Underwood. Spike down by who else but by Aiden Watson, who has just been ready and prepared for any ball hit to him. This time he gets the serve.
Again, we're back to a tied game, Zane.
You were right about this one. It looks like it'll be close in this set for sure. Good block, good recovery made, good digs. Underwood to give right to Grimm. And that one just shot through everyone.
Looks like the Grizzlies are a little bit on a hot streak now. Scored quite a few strong points.
7-6 currently for the Grizzlies. Good boost up. Lee, and with last hit on the Grizzlies, that point goes to George Brown.
Lee has been playing amazing on the right side there. I mean, we've seen it in the last set and this set as well. Just laying down spikes into the blocks, bouncing off perfectly out.
Amazing effort by the corners so far for George Brown. And here comes Lee on the serve. And brooms!
Wow.
Tyrese Broom.
Just dunked that one on their heads. I mean, again, he is 6'6". That height definitely helps, and getting to that ball faster than the other side.
Something of a 4-on-1 on there for Tyrese, but nobody could get it past Brooms. Lee up on the serve, but it does hit the net, making it 8-8 and a tie game again during this set for both George Brown and Georgian. This time on the serve, it's Devin Oliver. Shooting up and in, off the net, but recovered up by Suzuki. Passing to Lee, passing it to Svidritsky. But and blocked again by Brooms.
Fantastic game from number 12 right there.
Getting it done on offense, getting it done on defense. He's just a brick wall up there.
I mean, especially with beside him being number 14. That's just really hard to get past.
Yeah, those two together is not something you want to be shooting right in front of. And here comes Brooms on the serve, but it is out of bounds. Point to the Grizzlies. Very much a back and forth set so far in this one. It seems like every time one team takes a point, the other follows it up immediately.
That's why I think possibly just getting a good 3 points might be the difference here.
Lee up to Suzuki, but blocked up alive by Georgian. but no one made the move, and that one just drops right into Georgian's side. Another point for the Huskies.
Just a little miscommunication there.
Seeming to be part of the difference between these two teams up in this game so far, communication. This time, Svidritsky will get the serve, and you know he's going to come in with some absolute heat.
Looks like setter number 1 there, Underwood. Not sure if you saw that, but it looks like he's showing up some plays with his hands. That one kind of looked like number 3 or number 2 there. I think that maybe the Grizzlies are looking to change things up, having their setter call a few different kind of plays.
Yeah. Being down 2-0, they're definitely looking for new opportunities. As Suzuki passes in, but blocked. But there's nowhere for the Grizzlies to go. And another point to the Huskies. Ketrzinski will get the serve. Georgian is ready for him coming in. But that one, he's been testing the top of that net all game. That one just a little too low, hitting the net. And we have another tie set here in the 3rd period. Lee to Suzuki, passing it over to Ketrzinski, but blocked. And a big point made by Aiden Kenny.
Fantastic job by number 11 right there. I mean, he's in his 4th year at Georgian, and he is 6'5", so using that height to just jump over the net and sort of dunk the ball over is definitely, I think, going to be a little bit of a difference in who can make more of those blocks in this set.
Absolutely, and just like that, there is another timeout called.
Maybe close this.
Sorry at home, everybody. Just potential volleyball landing up in the direction, but just a timeout currently for both teams. And I think Tyler Latuila is just trying to get George Brown to stick back to the fundamentals that have been working thus far in the game for them.
Yeah, I think a lot of good things that have been working for the team is definitely setting up and having time to set up plays to the 2 corners next to the net. I mean, 14, 10, and 17, if you can get them their ball, they're going to absolutely spike that down. And also keeping on with the middle defense, especially in number 12 Brooms there. If they can keep him blocking, I think that is going to make a huge difference.
Yeah, there's not a lot of answers they have for Brooms up at the top of the nets. But first serve going over Georgian's way, but out of bounds on the serve coming in from Vrizima. That point going George Brown. Some more choice words coming in from Georgian's bench. This time, Phoebe with the serve, firing it in. Underwood, and an absolute smoke show coming in from Aiden Watson.
Yeah, that was an absolutely fantastic play, just right along the line there, keeping the ball in an area that is close to being out, but not enough.
Yeah, just that fine line between those boundaries. Passing it, Ketrzinski. Immediately answering back to the bullet coming from Watson. And with that big time serve and spike, it is George Brown's ball yet again, this time coming from Suzuki. Light taps, bouncing up over in, and that time it lands Georgian's way. Big back and forth so far. It is 14-13 here in the set, but something tells me that the Huskies might be prepared for this next one. Coming in from Grimm, Watson, my mistake. Lee, but blocked up again by Watson. Keeping it down low. Light tap. Underwood passing it over.
Oh.
And Suzuki can't get a good read on it and shoots it up out of bounds on the return. It is 15 to 13 Huskies, and this feels like the first time there's been a 2-point difference in quite some time.
I think so as well. Maybe the first 2 points was the last time it would look like this.
Underwood, and a nasty spike coming in from Josiah Grimm, and the team is fired up.
Again, just not taking any time to just hit the ball right away. Leaving the Huskies, I would say, a little bit unprepared for things like that. Here
comes Watson. Suzuki on the return, passing it up and down to Svidritsky, but no one on Georgian is ready for that level of power and accuracy. Point again to the Huskies. And Lee will be getting the serve. Firing it up and in. And ref calls. And there seems to be a bit of a disagreement out on the court. Ref made the call giving the point to George Brown. Seeming to be a lot of confusion on both sides. Underwood, and a big spike, but a block made out of bounds for George Brown, giving the point to the Grizzlies.
Again, importance, like what I said earlier, that 2-point lead can definitely be the difference here in this third set. Again, just because when one scores, the other one scores, and that's just how the game's going so far.
Here comes Oliver with a big jump in and a spike down, but there's no response made for the Georgian Grizzlies yet again. Something about that size and strength of Svidritsky is just a hard hurdle to overcome. Getting the serve this time will be Thomas Tucci.
Tucci we haven't seen so much of so far. He is a setter, second year here at George Brown. 6-1. Fortunately for that one, unfortunately for him, sorry, that one was out.
Just a little bit out, and Tucci does seem frustrated as he is moving back out onto the bench, coming back in with Jose. So a bit of a defensive configuration and a switch up happening here. Don't want to let Georgian get too comfortable as they have number 15, Tristan Lurk, coming back out onto the court for the serve. Good serve made in by Lurk. And Underwood. Ooh. And that was just way too much power on that one. That went flying past the court and into the seats.
Excellent setup, though, by the Grizzlies.
Good setup there. Just needed to hit the execution a little stronger. And just like that, it is once again a 1-point game. Serve in from George Brown. Underwood. Back over to George Brown. And to number 7. To Underwood. Spike in. Little light tap. And not quite enough. There was good movement around. Everybody was getting a piece of the ball, but they couldn't get it past the net, and that point goes Georgian's way.
I mean, something I've noticed is that the Grizzlies, they have been defending these serves quite well recently. It seems like they haven't had many fall on them right away. They seem to be receiving them quite well. Again, I do think it is because of their formation, 4 in the back there and just 1 on the side. Their receiving game has been excellent so far this set.
I think this is an element that we're seeing out of Reed Saxby, the 10-year coach here with Georgian, and he is never willing, he's always willing to change up the game plan, always willing up to change if something is not working. His team is changing up their strategy. Like you said, the defense has absolutely taken root here up in this period, and we'll see how they follow up through after a timeout called by the Huskies.
Yes. Getting, again, closer to the magic number of 25. And, again, like we've been talking about this whole game, that 2-point lead can really be a difference.
Easily evaporated, and neither team can take that too much to heart. It is Georgian's ball. And Underwood coming up with the serve. Fires it in, over to Lee. Suzuki to Ketrazinski. And the point made for George Brown. Ketrazinski, when he's got that primo spike coming off, there's just no response to be made.
Especially when he has the space to do it. It's absolutely amazing.
Speaking of Ketrazinski here, he comes in with the serve. Too much on that one, and it is out of bounds. Point to the Grizzlies.
I mean, now the Grizzlies are in the 20s. Huskies are going to have to try to play catch up a little bit here.
There is still time to be made, but Vrizema coming in with the serve. Fires it in. Nice dig out by Jose, but another great spike coming in from Georgian. And they are 4 points away from taking their first set of the night. Running back the same formation, and they have Vrizema again on the serve. He's coming in. That appeared to be in play. Point to Georgian, but George Brown seems to be upset with that call. There's a lot of confusion coming from the Husky side, looking and being like, are you sure? Like, something seems off on that side, but
definitely a point they couldn't afford to lose, though.
Absolutely. In a close game like this, they seem frustrated, to be sure. Suzuki flipping it over to Ketrazinski, and the point to the Huskies. And this time, with the flip on that point, and now Georgian seems to be the upset team, feeling a little cheated out of a call there.
Again, every point in this game matters so much, especially when, you know, you're already down 2 sets. Losing this set means you're going home.
Ooh, and just a light tap made by Svidritsky, a little out of bounds and reach for Phoebe. So while a little miscommunication there, they immediately wipe the slate clean. But they are down 4 points, while Georgian only needs 2 more to advance to the 4th set. Aiden Kenny will get the serve for this one, who has been having quite a sharp game himself. Warming it up, jumps, fires it in, and a recovery made. Suzuki spiking it in, but out of bounds, and it is set point for Georgian.
Just a few, or maybe a little bit more than a few, a heavy few, if even, mistakes there by George Brown. Maybe those mistakes will cause them to give up the set.
This is a big one of the bigger deficits we've seen out of the entire night for George Brown, and now they are currently facing their first loss in the set to begin. Okay. Suzuki over to, and that point going on the spike from Svidritsky.
Right.
Perfect setup.
Into the corner here. Perfect spot. Absolutely no one could reach.
Right there in the corner. That's where Svidritsky's trying to aim to, as they are still down, but in reach. Suzuki with the serve. Underwood, and a spike down from Josiah Grimm. And the Grizzlies are on the board with their first set. It is now 2-1 Huskies.
You could definitely say that I think 1-1 sets there were definitely deserved. Huskies winning the last close one and now taking a revenge here. The Grizzlies taking this one. I think that, you know, definitely shows to how even the past 2 sets have been.
Absolutely. This is a close matchup from both sides. They kept it close enough in range, not jumping ahead too long until later in the game, where then once they had their 5-point lead, they were in a great position to take the win. George Brown will have to regroup for the 4th. Still up 2-1, but potentially momentum coming from Georgian's side. We are off on a quick break now. I'm Zane Cherniak with Asia Chu, and we will see you all for the 4th. And we are back for the 4th set of the game. I'm Zane Cherniak here with Asia Chu.
Hello.
And this has been a pretty intense matchup so far.
Oh, yeah, Zane. I mean, wow, the past 2 sets have been just absolute shootout. I mean, first set looked a little bit different, but I do think the Grizzlies definitely came back with a little bit of extra heat towards the end of the 3rd set. Just kind of outplayed the Huskies towards the end there.
We could definitely see why that team was on a 9-game win streak coming into this one. And this match is now underway. Suzuki to Phoebe, and a perfect setup there, and not much could be done. First point of the game going to George Brown.
Bench absolutely excited. Let's get that going.
Yeah, both benches have absolutely been fired up watching their team play. And there's more to be done. And a nice fire in coming from Devin Oliver. So the first 2 points of the game are 1 apiece. And this time Aiden Kenny gets the serve. Jumping in, fires a light just over the net, and it rolls on in.
That one just made it there.
Yeah. Kind of a taste of George Brown's own medicine with what Ketrzinski's been able to pull off most of the night. And this time Kenny gets the move in. He'll be getting the serve up again. He jumps and fires right over, and Suzuki with a pass and a light tap in by Georgian, and the spike. That was an animal effort made by Ryan Vriesema.
Super strong. I mean, honestly, kind of looking at the end of last set and looking at the start of this set, it just seems a little bit like the Grizzlies just have a tiny bit more energy. To be fair, it is 10:25 here, so it can be a little bit tiring, but I think that once the Huskies get a few points on, they're going to get even more excited.
Absolutely. As this match starts to dwindle down to the very end, I think we're going to see both teams at their absolute highest energy, knowing the stakes of this one. And here comes Ketrzynski in with the serve. Recovered up by Oliver and blocked. And Suzuki with a pass over and blocked again. And in the air, but hitting the top of the ceiling. Incredible effort made by Ketrzynski.
Amazing play. Unfortunately, just a little bit too high there. But I do think that if it was just even an inch off, they would have got that one over the net.
Here comes Underwood. And brought back. Spike down and no recovery to be made.
Again, another great receiving play there by number 10. Just keeping that ball up.
Ketrzynski has been absolutely on fire whenever he can get that spike down.
Yes, and especially he completely, he put that perfectly to let Suzuki get a amazing set there.
Phoebe, who hit that one right into the net there, who's been a little bit off and on in terms of his serves in this game, coming out for a quick break on the Husky side. And the serve coming in from Vriesema. Now to Suzuki. And a spike, but just a little too down. And that point goes the Grizzlies.
Good try there. I mean, kind of had a fake play there.
Yeah, Brooms with the fake out. Yeah, he jumped up, but no swing to make. And then instead, Ketrzynski came in behind him.
Some fun plays like that are probably going to make the difference.
That one a little overshot by Vriesema.
Huskies definitely going to want to at least tie it up here. Again, like we said, just a tiny lead can make the absolute difference in these past few sets.
And this time Suzuki with the serve. Underwood with the spike down and a nice recovery made by Ketrzynski. To Lee with the light tap and a little just too far off. It hit the top of the net but bounced back into the Husky side, and timeout will be called.
This fourth set here, Ketrzynski, just amazing on the defense. I mean, we've seen him play super good offensively the last 3 sets, but if he can make a super big jump and play great defensively, maybe that is the boost that the Huskies need to get a lead here.
Yeah, they've been trusting Ketrzynski a lot with the ball, be it in the serve, recovery on defense. They're letting him do it all out there right now, and I still think he's got more energy and heart to show in this game.
We had a timeout here with the Huskies. Looks like Nick Phoebe is leading the chat here a little bit, as well as Daryl Jose, getting their teammates hyped up.
Jose has been doing a great job so far on the recovery. It seems like almost on every serve, it's hit right to his direction, and he's able to get down low and close to the ground to scoop it back up and keep the ball alive.
That's what you want to see out of a fantastic libero. Getting all the digs that they need. Other sides, libero's also been playing quite well today. Number 4 there, Ethan Izetrolf.
Suzuki with a light butt up, nice block, and a recovery made.
Wow, I think that bounced off of Jose's head there.
Lee keeping it down low. Suzuki with a big time serve and a still recover made. Grimm to Oliver, to Suzuki, to Ketrzynski, is staying alive, but could not get the grip on, and that is Husky's point.
That looked like that hurt. I'm not sure if that hit him on the head or the chest, but
Svidritsky is giving it maximum power out there, and you could hear the impact of the ball the second it was made. Lee with the serve, this time hitting the net.
Close one there. Unfortunate, though.
Yeah, big time play in the match just before early, but now it is back to possession of the Grizzlies. Serve it in as Suzuki with what a block made by Aiden Kenny. He saw exactly where they were going with it, and when he got a light tap in, he gave a light tap back, and the ball just drops down in Husky court.
Wow, just one-handed there. Tapped that in. I think the Huskies, again, need a little bit more hype here. They need to stay excited and hype for this game. And I think they also maybe need a little bit momentum to try to get a lead back here, Zane.
Absolutely. Svidritsky with the spike there, but the recovery is made by Isaac Rolfe. And the point does indeed go the Grizzlies' way, who have taken a early but commanding 10-5 lead.
Kind of seems like, you know, the points are really swinging towards their side. I think they came out. Nice recovery
made by Lee. Svidritsky trying with the spike in, but the defense has really come alive in this recent little stretch for the Grizzlies, and they don't look to be slowing down one bit.
No, definitely not.
Jose giving the chance, and a nice recovery made. Lee keeping the ball alive. Jose passing it up and over. Back in Grizzly side, spike down but blocked, and that is huge. An excellent block made by Yaroslav Svidritsky.
That, I think, maybe might be the boost that the Huskies need here. Don't know if you noticed this, Zane, but they did switch out their setter as well. Switched out number 2 for number 4, Thomas Tucci.
Tucci is indeed out of the game, as they have now brought in. Tucci is now brought into the game.
Looks like they might have touched the net there, though. Sorry. And just as we thought, the Huskies were getting a little bit of a boost there. Just goes right back to the Grizzlies.
Absolutely, and we have Devin Oliver now making the serve for Georgian. With Suzuki being out and taking a quick break, they'll have to count on Tucci, and a little too far. Svidritsky trying to go all the way from the right side over to the left, but it flies a little too far and out of bounds. And it is now 13-6.
I think we're seeing a little bit of deja vu maybe to the first set, just the other way around. Looked pretty similar to this, and quite different from the last two.
Here comes Oliver in with the serve. A light tap, just enough to get over the net. And Vrizema with the fake out, and no one can get to it on George Brown's side.
That was just a fantastic play. I mean, just kind of the little zip out there, bouncing it off of, looks like number 10.
Georgian is starting to take a big lead up in this one, but a major point back for George Brown, and not to mention the serve, and they're counting on Yaroslav Svidritsky to plant a seed in here for this one.
Wow.
That power, but Aiden Kenny with a straight dunk into the ground.
Now,
I'm not sure how Georgian was able to recover off of that Svidritsky serve, but Aiden Kenny was able to finish it with that absolute power move.
Yeah, like, he's been just doing that all game. When that ball comes to him towards the middle, he is hitting that down as fast as he can with as much power as possible. I think it's throwing maybe the Huskies off their feet a little bit. Again, trying to stay positive with and get a lot of points here.
Despite all of Kenny's contributions, that serve is a little low, and he is taking a quick breather out of the game now. But that time it goes out of bounds, George Brown's side, and another point delivered to Georgian.
Also, it looks like we have a sub in as well. Matthew Lau playing his first minute of this game. Number 3 right there. He came in for number 14, Sudritsky.
Sudritsky's first real break of the game. They're switching up the pace a little, want to make sure everyone is on their toes. Not to mention another errant throw, back to back to back. This time another one hitting the net from the Grizzlies side. So George Brown will get another chance to serve here, this time with Phoebe. This is his second year with the Huskies. Fires one in. Friesema. Excellent sequence made there by the Grizzlies. They clearly are finding a rhythm now.
Yeah,
with that pass to Grimm and a complete spike in.
It seems like the Grizzlies are just on fire. Huskies aren't really stopping them so far. But maybe that was the answer right there by Joseph Lee.
Big point to get in their favor there. Joseph Lee making his presence known on the little soft tap in. First point that they've scored in a while without it being an errant serve or out of bounds. Thomas Tucci getting the serve. Firing one in, but out of bounds, and that will be another point for the Grizzlies.
Looks like we have another player playing his first minutes of the game. Number 9, his grad game, of course, Maximilian Kostju.
Kostju graduating today and certainly would like to leave with a win up in this one. Another person coming into the game with Matt Lau joining for his first, as you mentioned, Asia. So they're trying to change up the configuration.
I think so.
Regardless, Georgian is just taking a demanding lead here.
Yeah, definitely. I think coach is probably looking at trying to change a little bit in who's playing. Maybe they can get a different flow going. Again, also, pretty much everyone that before they were subbed out, they've been playing the entire game. And also, again, it is pretty late here in Toronto.
Currently 10:35 Eastern time at this point. Joseph Lee getting ready for the serve. Rizima getting it down low and out of bounds. Point again to the Huskies.
And looks like the subs have been working well for them. They've been scoring a little bit more frequently since it's happened. Yes. Maybe the change of flow is going to help the Huskies come back here a little bit.
Tyler Latuila is certainly just trying to change up the pacing and wanting to get a different look for these Georgian Grizzlies. Don't want them to be too used to the same thing throughout this entire game. Not to mention, they're going to need their star guys coming back into this rested up, potentially if this goes to another set. But that one drops down low. No one can get to it on Georgian's side, and another point for the Huskies. And again, here is graduate Max Kostju coming in with the serve.
Had a little bit of a ceremony before the game for him.
Tucci, but down, another block made.
That was by number 7 there, Devin Oliver, 6'3", first year with the Grizzlies from Newmarket. And now he's going to take the serve as well, Zane.
His team was certainly fired up after that one with the serve coming in. Kitrinsky, but it stays back on their side, and another point to the Grizzlies.
just kind of seems like the Grizzlies are just completely dominating this set, unfortunately for the Huskies. I mean, they're 3 points out of set point now.
And with another win for Georgian, it will be tied at 2 apiece. But an absolute laser beam coming in from Nick Phoebe on a perfect windup and a major way to get back in possession of the serve here. Matt Lau is getting the serve this time. And the Huskies might not be finished yet.
Fantastic serve.
Solid recovery made, but an even better dig out by George Brown. And a block again. And Matt Lau again with the defensive moves. What a well-earned point by the Huskies. The defense, the spikes, the blocking, they made sure they earned that one.
I think that, honestly, a lot of that definitely has to go to Phoebe there. First getting the dig, then getting the block back to back. And I think that was a great finisher for such a good defensive job.
Matt Lau, who's also been making a great defensive effort in this one, not to mention that serve to start off the other point. Unfortunately, hits that one into the net, giving the serve back on over to Georgian. This time it'll be Aiden Kenny. Aiden Watson, my mistake. A light tap over, and no one is there for it.
Good fake out play right there by number 8, John Michael Donnelly. What a good job by him. You really think he's going to set there, and he just flips it around.
It is now set point for the Grizzlies. One more, and this is going to the 5th and final set.
You could definitely arguably say, though, that this game deserves a finish like that.
A light tap, but the Grizzlies are there to recover for it. Another soft serve and spike down. But that one apparently is a little too out of bounds, and the Grizzlies take back-to-back sets. It is now 2-all, Asia.
Wow, Zane. Just honestly exciting game, but that was mostly sort of, I would say, domination there by the Grizzlies.
Yeah, they clearly checked into a smooth rhythm in this one. And while George Brown did take that early 2-0 lead, they are now going to a 5th and final set. Anything can happen, but we will be taking a quick break as both teams recover. I'm Zane Cherniak with Asia Chu, Evan Crane on the scoreboard, and we will see you next set. And we are back for the 5th and final set of this game. 1st to 15 will take it. I'm Zane Cherniak here with Asia Chu. And what a game we've had so far, Asia.
Yes, Zane. I think you saw one more dominant set from each team and 2 close sets from each team that just could have gone either way. This game definitely deserves, I think, at least a 5th set.
Nice block made in there by the Grizzlies, but the ball is still alive. Another recovery up by the Grizzlies and staved by Joseph Lee. Ketrazinski, but blocked. Suzuki back in, passing it over to Ketrazinski, and he this time gets it. A very first strong start over for the Huskies, and it's nice to get that first point on the board.
Yes. I mean, they just didn't have that good of a last set, I would say. So good to keep the spirits up early. And I would also say their starting lineup is back, and I think coach kind of gave them a little bit of a rest when they were down quite a few to get ready for this 5th set.
Absolutely. This time the serve came from Svidritsky. Ball still alive. Jose kind of shucking it over, but another block made, and this time it goes over to the Grizzlies.
It's a close one there. Again, I think the Huskies need to keep their spirits up.
Heavy hammer coming in from Svidritsky, and like we've been seeing with him from time to time, when he's got the accuracy on, it is sharp and there. But when it gets a little too strong and out of control, it'll get out of bounds.
That
As
one was
does that
just
one.
out.
Another out of bounds ball, but this time going the Huskies' way. It is 2-2 in the early going.
Now that one was close there, Zane.
Absolutely. Ketrazinski this time getting the serve with the big first point to get them on the board. Shooting just above the top of the net. Serving up over into Watson, but he stays with it. Shooting for it again. A block, but no one is there. And Ketrazinski might have been better off had he not touched it at all, but it's a split-second decision to be made, and unfortunately the ball lands right in the middle of the center of their court.
Very loud in here as well still.
Loud from all sides. And Vrizima setting up the shot. Suzuki with a light toss, passing it up over to Lee, but the block, but staying alive. Lee gets another chance, but blocked again, and this time for the Huskies getting the point.
This 5th set has just been insane, Zane. I don't think we've seen like a point that's just been scored off of a single play. It's been mostly a rally.
I'll make a prediction. I think we're seeing extras in this one.
I would agree with that one.
A fire shot coming in from who else but Aiden Watson with right in the perfect part of the corner there. So the Grizzlies will take the lead back. And this time they have Josiah Grimm getting ready for the serve, who also has one mean spike. But this time it's too much on it. Point back to the Huskies. We're seeing a very quick 1-and-1 for both. 1-and-1, back and forth, back and forth. And here comes Tien Suzuki. A light toss in, a setup, and shot right down into the corner there.
I think the Huskies are definitely going to have to look out from the 2 sides there. The Grizzlies are really good at getting the ball just right between being out and being in.
Nice save made there by number 10 and Ketrazinski. And still, but that hit the net twice, and a point over to the Grizzlies. I think it has gone back and forth for just about every single point so far. Joseph Lee warming up for the serve. Coming in with some speed moves. Underwood serving up with the block, and who else but Tyrese Brooms, but they don't like the call. Point to the Grizzlies. And I think there was a little bit of net interference on that one. Last person who got their hands on it. But George Brown does seem a little frustrated with that call.
Hopefully they can just shake that off and get this next one here.
Serve coming in. Just enough. Lee keeps it alive. Suzuki brings it back in. A light tap just over the net. Missing in, but recovery by Underwood. A light tap in again. Lee with the recovery move. Suzuki passing it over to Ketrazinski, and somehow it still moves. And the point goes the Huskies' way.
Wow. Absolutely hard strike there by Ketrazinski.
Ketrazinski with an incredible move there. I don't know how they pulled off some of those defensive metrics and slides, but that was a big turning point to get the lead back, or to tie it up again.
Amazing rallies in this fifth set. Fortunately, that one there wasn't the best play.
Brooms a little bit with an errant throw there, and he is frustrated as he walks off. And the serve does go back to Georgian's way. They know how close of a game this is. It is currently 7-6 Grizzlies. Kenny comes in with the serve. Suzuki with a light tap and spike down, but recovery as it hits the top of the ceiling. Another point to the Huskies.
Bobby there.
Unbelievable. It's just, you take a point, I take a point. You take a point, I take a point.
And it might be almost 11 o'clock, but is the crowd and the bench is just hype right now.
Svidritsky almost with a perfect slide in, but it just hits the top of the net. And a big, big point for the Grizzlies there.
Probably a good, oh, it looks like we are actually switching sides here.
Switching over sides now. Just 7 points remaining here on the night. But the Huskies are right in this one. Can they pull out the win? They were up 2-0. The Grizzlies came back to tie it.
Probably a good time, I would say, for both teams to switch sides, take a little bit of a breather. So much action happened so far in the first half of the fifth. Take a little bit of breather, calm the game down, set up your plays, and get ready to execute your best to win this game.
If you're watching at home, do you think the Huskies get the next point? Logan Underwood for the Grizzlies is ready for the serve. He shoots up and taps that one in. And a spike, but block made, and the Huskies do get the next one. Or no. Yes, it is tied yet again.
I got a little confused there too. The bench in front of us was celebrating.
Yeah, it might have been a bit of a premature celebration there. Light tap in from Ketrazinski. Massive spike in from Vrizema. But Ketrazinski does it again, this time a little over and out of bounds. Point again, going the Grizzlies' way.
Now this.
And the next point goes to the Huskies. You couldn't have written this any better.
Definitely not. Grad night as well. Last home game here at George Brown. Definitely showing what they got.
Phoebe ready with the serve. Hits up and fires to Vrizema. Underwood with the toss and a spike right down into no man's land. And that is a big point yet again for the Grizzlies. This one is going down to the wire, folks. Just 5 points away for Georgian. And here comes Lurk, but a nice recovery made. Lee coming in, a soft toss, but with Lurk again on the recovery and a spike down. And
Grizzlies just absolutely hype here at George Brown. I mean, again, they've been fighting for these points. Looks like the Huskies are going to take their first timeout, Zane.
yeah, probably a good time for that
I
timeout,
agree.
as the Grizzlies have now tacked on back-to-back points.
Again, I know that obviously that doesn't seem like the biggest deal, but in a game like this, those 2 points are just huge, especially when both teams have been fighting back to back to back to back in points. And again, it's only because this set goes to 15.
Every point matters in this one. Both teams know how close and how in reach they are, but it is going to come down to just the sheer resilience out of both teams in this one. And I think that Tyler Latuila, head coach of the Huskies, is trying to get one more chat into his team to change up their game plan, see how they can not only get back to tie this game, but perhaps take a lead and get ahead, because right now they are facing their backs against the wall. But time is not over yet, everybody. It is currently 10:54 p.m. And Tristan Lurk will get the serve for the Grizzlies.
Let's see if the Huskies look a little bit different out of that timeout, Zane.
Big time serve coming in from Lurk. Suzuki, but the block made over by the Grizzlies. Suzuki tries again, but the block is made yet again, this time by Aiden Kenny.
Grizzlies bench right in front of us, erupting with energy. And as well as the ladies team, hopefully the Huskies can get a little bit more excitement as well going into these final points.
Lurk with the serve yet again. He jumps up high, he fires. And Jose with the recovery. A light tap and a incredible recovery made by Brooms after an absurd dig out from Georgian.
I mean,
That ball looked like it was destined to hit the ground. He somehow flicks it back up, but Brooms is there to spike it in, and it is back to Husky ball. They get the serve. This time it'll be Thomas Tucci. We have a game here tonight, folks. Just off the top. Underwood spiking down. That point going Huskies' way.
we're back to a 1-point game, Zane.
This is unbelievable.
Looks
And
like
a timeout being called. This time from Reed Saxby.
I would also agree that that's probably a good time to call a timeout. Like we said again, 2 back-to-back points in this kind of set is a huge deal.
You said it, Asia. Both teams are so close and super within reach. I mean, you just have to assume that this game was bound to go to extras, right?
I totally think so.
It's had the makeup of that probably since maybe even the third set. So now that we're this close, with both teams still in it to the very end, we are coming down to a close, folks.
And here we go, Zane.
Now, in George Brown's favor, they do get the serve up on this one, and they'll be going with Tucci yet again.
Might be able to tie it up here.
Yeah. Tucci is currently in for Suzuki as the setter. Up high, and Tucci fires in, but it is over, and a big point. big point made, just 2 away for Georgian Grizzlies.
Wow, is this game ever so intense, Zane?
Up to the very end, Asia. The serve made, but Jose with the recovery and spiked in, but survives. And another one to the Grizzlies. It is set point.
Amazing recovery there by Ethan Eiselrolf, number 4 libero for the Grizzlies.
And another timeout is being called.
Again, probably the right time as the Grizzlies are 1 point away from match point there. And I think the Huskies definitely don't want to let this one run away from them. I mean, they were leading 2-0 in sets from the start of the game. And to be fair, they kind of had a pretty close set as well in the third. They're definitely looking to kind of electrify their team here in this timeout and come out with some power, trying to stop this set point before they can make it go to extra points.
We are coming down to the home stretch, everybody. This time with the serve will be Aiden Watson for set point.
And there it is.
The Georgian Grizzlies come back from a 2-0 deficit and they take the win.
Now, what a game to win for them. I mean, coming, like you just said, coming back from being 0-2 in sets and just winning third straight like that. And I would say from about the second half of the third, pretty dominating fashion, except for maybe here in the fifth. But unfortunate, just a heartbreak for the Huskies, Zane.
A stunning comeback, of course, for the Grizzlies. That is now their 10th straight win on the season. And the Grizzlies take out the win from George Brown as they end their homestand with a loss. Of course, an excellent effort made, incredible performances from so many teammates, but they walk out of here, unfortunately, with the loss. Thank you so much for everyone who stuck around for this one. It is just before 11 p.m. It is 10:58. I'm Zane Cherniak with Asia Chu. Evan Crane over on your scoreboard for tonight. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and we will see you all next time.
Bye.